Mother, mother, there are many of you crying. And brother, 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 there are far many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket signs and picket lines. Don't punish me with brutality. Just talk to me and you will see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Mother, mother, everybody thinks they're wrong, but who are they to judge us? Simply because our hair is long. You know we got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket signs and picket lines. Don't punish me with brutality. Just talk to me and you will see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am your host and founder of the Doing It Does It nonprofit, Angel Davis. Welcome. We welcome you this evening to the official launch of the Doing It Does It nonprofit, as well as our first annual fundraiser, Doing It Does It fundraiser. I am so excited for what's in store for you all this evening. We are going to have some dynamic speakers talking about the importance of partnerships, how they affect our community, and some of our initiatives that we have planned for you tonight, our initiatives for the community and helping pushing our community to its greatness. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Okay. And we're going to keep going, right? This is just how it is. So I am Angel Davis. I'm born and raised right here in the great Tacoma, Washington. My parents are Reverend Dr. Alfred C. Davis Sr. and Miss Mary L. Davis. I grew up on the south end of Tacoma, but really the east side because they started a church on Portland Avenue, and I believe we spent more time at the church than we did at home. So anyway, my passion and my drive and my purpose is to connect people to their greatness. And to do that, we have launched and have started the Doing It Does It nonprofit. Now, you may ask me, why Doing It Does It? When I was younger, my father always said, don't talk about it, be about it. He would literally say, doing it does it. So our goal, our mission, our purpose is doing it does it. We are people helping people help themselves. So strap in, sit down, stand up, whatever you need to do, and get ready for a great night of purpose, of vision, as we introduce and launch the Doing It Does It nonprofit. Thank you for joining us. Talk to you soon.
Frederick Jerome Davis, also known as JD, grew up in the Great Pacific Northwest and attended local area schools. Developing a love for music at a very young age, he immediately began the journey of chasing his dreams to become a record label executive and music producer and founded Way Out Records. This journey awarded him the opportunity to produce hip-hop and R&B albums and sign several music licensing deals with MTV. Not forgetting the struggles he had as a youth, JD has always held a special place in his heart for community and founded an annual Way Out Fun Day and free holiday giveaway, which has provided food, gifts, and back-to-school supplies for thousands of youth since its inception. Awakened from a dream in 2006, JD created kid-friendly Rodney Raccoon and Friends to educate children using music and technology. Through Rodney Raccoon, they have reached millions of children through their projects and community outreach programs. JD has served as a council member of the Metro Parks Advisory Council and as a board member for Tacoma Kiwanis. He is a senior fellow in the American Leadership Forum, also known as ALF, and Jane's Fellowship Program. In 2011, JD was voted 40 under 40 for business, goodwill, and giving back to his community. Primed for success in a digital revolution, JD is leading the development of a 2D animated cartoon series, which will be distributed and sold globally.
How you doing? My name is JD Davis, or Jerome Davis. I am the founder and CEO of Way Out Kids, and I'm honored today to be involved in Doing It Doesn't, the launch of a great nonprofit organization. My job today is to give you some history on a program that we've been doing for over 20 years called the Holiday Giveaway. The Holiday Giveaway started about 2000 based on a need in the community. We come from a poor side, or we serve a poor side, a very poor side of Tacoma, called the east side of Tacoma. And during 2000, we noticed that during Christmas time, specifically, it's cold and things like that, and kids and families were going without. They were going without food. They were going without toys. And we decided to figure out a way that we could bless our community. And out of that blessing came the Holiday Giveaway. It started with a small group of us with a very, very big goal. And so we set out to say, how can we touch into the schools? How can we build our partnerships, right? So you always look at partnerships when you're trying to bless a community. And so we started partnering with the elementary schools in the area and the schools in the area and kind of getting a list of what was needed, along with the church here, which is based right in the middle, right in the heart of the east side of Tacoma. And we partnered with the schools and we started finding out what the need was, and it was a lot greater than what we originally thought. So you would think you would hear maybe 10 or 20 people in the school need this, but we were hearing more hundreds. You know, there are 100 or 200 families that don't have anything in our community at this school, and then at this school and that school. And so we put together an event called the Holiday Giveaway, and actually our first one was held at a center called, we used to call it the Youth Center, and it was the neighborhood center. It was actually directly across the street from the church, right in the Shalashan neighborhood. And we had big goals. Of course, he said we're going to at least feed, 300 people and do 300 gifts. And we set out to do that. So the day of event came, and we partnered with Porter. I think my sister mentioned that earlier, rest in peace. It's Porter's Restaurant, and he did the catering for the event. And as we're getting ready to open, we look outside, and there's about 700-800 people out there. And it's funny, I remember going to Porter and saying, I don't think we have enough. And Porter said to me at that time, he said, do you forget the God we serve? And he said he turned 5 loaves and 2 fish and fed everyone. He said, don't worry about it. And at the end of the event, we had fed everyone, had given everyone toys, and we don't know how. But I think that started the magic of the holiday giveaway. And the reason I call it magic, because I believe that when you give, you will receive. And we went into the whole concept of the holiday giveaway as giving. We're just giving, we're going to pour our hearts out, we're going to pour our time out, we're going to pour all our resources into this, and we're going to give back to our community. And this went on year after year. It would always come right up to the deadline to where we may not have something. And then right a week or so before, we would get all the resources we need to be able to put on this event. So after a while, I just got more comfortable around holiday giveaway time. I'd say, oh, it's coming up. We don't have everything, but God will provide. But what we learned as kids is to always put God first. And with that event, we definitely always put God first. So as years went on, we continued to do the holiday giveaway, and there were great stories that come along. But I remember this one. We changed up things a bit as opposed to having people come out and have dinner and give away toys, because we started looking at things to say, okay, after this meal, then what are the families doing, right? So one great meal, they go home and they don't get to eat the next day. So we said, let's change up the holiday giveaway moving forward, and we started doing food drives along with gifts. And we started delivering these to homes. So we would talk with the schools, build in the partnerships, get the names, addresses, and then we would get a team of people. We'd all go out, deliver a grocery bag of food along with toys. And I remember this one year, and it was right across the street. We're here at the church today. It was right across the street in Shalishan. And I was going through something because I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I think I was just witnessing burnout. And so I went in, and we're going to deliver, and we take a bag of groceries up to this door and a bag of toys, and I knock on the door. They come out, a little kid comes out, probably about 7 or 8 years old. And so, we think he's going to be excited about the toys, and the little kid comes to the door. He looks down, and immediately he goes, wow, food. And it broke me, because coming from where we have resources, we forget people who don't. And here I expected the kid to be excited about the toys, and the kid was excited about the food. That's what the holiday giveaway is all about. So if you're looking for a cause, if you're looking for something to give back to that changes lives, the holiday giveaway, Doing It Does It, this organization here, I can promise you, is going to be about community. So when you're digging inside your own heart, and maybe you can't get out and do the physical work, what you do is you connect to organizations and people who do. So thank you for the time here. I would love to spend more time and tell you story after story. But remember, your gift counts. Thank you.
Alex Davis is a passionate leader with vision, entrepreneurship, and compassion for those who seek more from life but lack direction on how to obtain it. A husband to Trelane Davis and a father to 3 lovely children, Alex believes in the value of family. Raised by his father and mother, Alfred and Mary Davis, Alex learned at an early age the responsibility and power in unity. Alex has been involved with the City of Tacoma and other nonprofit organizations whose focus and efforts produce change in the lives of those in need. Alex pastors Eastside Assembly of Believers Church in Tacoma, Washington, a church founded by his father in 1964 and whose mission is geared towards messages of love, hope, and faith while providing life skill tools to assist individuals in succeeding in life. He is the executive director of the KIT program, Kings in Training, mentoring boys ages 5 through 16. He He is also the founder of the I Challenge Life Group, a self-development company with a social purpose towards youth mentorship. He is the author of a self-published book, 40 Days of Focus. He is the co-founder of the James Matthew Commission, SBC, providing emergency placement and visitation for those in the foster care system. Alex is also a fellow Rotarian and serves on several community and county boards that impact the lives and economics of all people. Alex continues to work and support initiatives, businesses, and partnerships to bring about unity and opportunity to homes, communities, cities, and the world.
Hi, my name is Alex Davis. I'm here at Eastside Assembly of Believers, being a part of Doing It Does It, and I'm excited to be a part of this today. I want to talk about the impact the church has on the community. When you think about the church, you can't help but think community, especially from the black perspective. You think about when blacks arrived to America on the shores of the Carolinas as slaves. We had no language, we didn't have anything, and then we brought our different cultures and religions together, and we were able to form a church. It came out of, and you had the CME church, you had the AME church, the Baptists, and different ones. I personally grew up out of Church of God in Christ, and these are all different communities or religious groups that impacted the community. Why did they impact the community? Because they were the community. Church is a reflection of the community that it's in. Church is definitely a reflection of the community that it's in. I even know growing up, here in Tacoma, when gangs were at an all-time high in the 90s, there were people who came to this church, Eastside Assembly of Believers, which was Eastside Community Church back then, and they were rival gang members. But their church connection was stronger than their gang affiliation. And so there you see the power of the church, that they wouldn't fight each other and that they would help each other because of their affiliation in church. And so church is so important because, again, it reflects the community because it is a community. As it pertains to Eastside Community Church or Eastside Assembly of Believers, we've been in existence since 1964, founded by my father, Pastor Alfred C. Davis Sr., right here on the east side of Tacoma. And there wasn't much over here. And he felt a strong urge to come over to the east side. And even today, the east side of Tacoma is one of the most diverse ethnic groups of people in Tacoma, and yet one of the most underserved. And so there were no resources over here. So the church played a significant role in bringing in resources because, again, you have a body of community. And so the church is always needed in the community. If you took the church out of the community, you would have a really bad community. I'm telling you, the effects and the impact, because the church always deals with the least, the last, and the lost. And there's so many people who don't think about it because they don't see it. But when you can plant a church in a hood, in a low-impoverished area, I'm telling you, it brings life, it revitalizes it. So it's important for churches to be in existence. In existence, it's also important for churches to always connect with other organizations, to connect with other people, and it bridges the gap. The church bridges the gaps between the community and sometimes other organizations who want to help. So the impact of the church is great, and it's so much needed. That's why I'm happy to be here representing Doing It Does It. Which leads me into the commitment the church and the community have. You need, that's not what I want to do. That's not what it's, the commitment to continue partnerships, that's what it is. The commitment to continue partnerships and the significance in partnering. Okay. Part 2.2. Part 2.3. It is so important to be committed to partnerships. So important to be committed to partnerships. Partnerships are needed between churches and communities and organizations. One reason why is we're stronger together. You always have power in partnerships. You also have greater ideas and a broader scope of things. So partnership is so important. We were taught as children that you can take a pencil and break it easy, but the more pencils you add, it's harder to break. And again, if we stand together versus standing apart, we're stronger. And so we don't want to be divided. Partnership is so important, and you have to be committed to partnership. You have to be committed to partnership. But more than committed to partnership, you have to be consistent in partnership. Without consistency, it will not work. Denzel Washington said in one of his speeches, without commitment, you'll never get started. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. And so partnerships, we must be committed and consistent with our partnerships. I can be committed to something, but my consistency makes sure I stay relevant to what's going on. It's keep what we call keeping my ear to the street, moving to the same drum beat. You don't all have to agree on everything, but learn how to partner for the greater good. That is so important. And one of the things I love about Eastside, over the years I've been here as a member, as a son of the church, and even now as a pastor, Pastor Davis, Mother Mary, and the different ones who worked in the church, they always believed in partnering outside of the norm, partnering outside of what was familiar, partnering with other ethnic groups, other races, and let me even go further, other religions. I remember we had a service where we were with Baptists, we were with Christian Reform, and different people who didn't look like us, sing like us, and in the words of my dad, didn't have the same color hair as I had. It was a little bit different, but the partnership made it great. And so we must again be committed and consistent with our partnerships. It's the only way to truly serve the community. When you're not willing to partner, you are limiting who you can help. So partnership is so important. And then I got a last part, and that's it. Whew. Okay. Part 3. Oh, somebody's coming in. Part 3.1. One thing the church and the community has to remember is the importance of the church. There's nothing like the church and the community. There's something special about a church that does something that no other organization, no other person can do or whatever, and that is feed the soul. There's something about walking into a church and being able to get your soul fed. And the church operates off the principles of the Bible. And those principles are universal. They're not just stuck in a religion, but they're universal. The principles of the Bible are universal. And when you get that good singing, that good preaching, that good teaching in the church, that good community, that good fellowship, it's nothing like it. It's a special place. I've witnessed many a times people on drugs, people who are alcoholics walk into the church and be loved and hugged on and embraced. And later on, you see they're the deacon in the church. You'll see that they're the missionary. You'll see that they're the greeter, and in some cases, the pastor. And so the church is a special place that causes transformation. But it can't do it alone. The church is the people. The building's where we come assemble, but the church is the people. And so we have to recognize this and preserve that special thing that the church is, the place where your soul gets fed. I truly believe that the launch of this Doing It Does It is going to be a movement that lasts generation after generation, because the saying is true. Doing it does it. That leaves no room for excuses. That leaves no room for fighting or bickering. No, doing it does it. And that's what we have to do. We have to get to it. We have to do it. And so I'm excited about Doing It Does It. I'm excited about the church partnering with community leaders and grassroots organizations, whoever it is. But we must all come together. And for what? For a cause to help others. For one scripture says this: when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was out of doors, you took me in. When I was in prison, you came and visited me. And the question was asked by the disciples, Jesus, when did we see this? When did we do this to you? He said, when you've done it unto the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. Let's not forget, we're all family. And we have to work together to help the least, the last, and the lost. Doing it does it.
It is now my wonderful pleasure to transition us from vision and ambition to now move us to our actual programs for Doing It Does It. As you know, Doing It Does It is very ambitious about the things that they want to accomplish within community. And we hope that you'll find it within your heart to give. So the programs that you can look forward to hearing from will be through mentorship, through Baker Middle School, through our pantries, through Bernie Elementary and Baker Middle School, as well as our financial literacy program that will be happening. We look forward to sharing with you more about our small business professional development program. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Byron Williams is the program supervisor for 2Gen Pilot Program at Tacoma Housing Authority. The 2Gen Family Engagement Program Pilot emphasizes a two-generational approach to housing and family stability for families with elementary, middle school, and high school age youth, with wraparound services focused on family goal setting, social-emotional learning, and practice. The pilot recognizes the role of families in the driver's seat in determining their goals and family incentives to achieve these goals.
I'm sitting here with my good friend, Mr. Byron Williams, who I've met actually through my niece, Kayla. He was working at the Roosevelt Elementary School doing an amazing program over there, but has since moved on up. And so we are going to have a nice conversation because Byron does a lot of great things in the community, works for a great organization that helps our families directly as well, like the many of the speakers you have heard tonight. So I'm going to sit here and interview him just to get some background of information that you may or may not know, and his perspective and also his expertise on the work that he does in the community. Good evening, Byron.
How you doing?
I'm great, thank you. And so we'll do, you've heard his intro and bio, so let's jump right into it. Byron, can you share about your experience with working with community and share some of the supports you feel are needed?
Working with community, I would say it's been amazing working with community. From community partners. When I think of community, I think of a couple things. I think about community partners. I think about families. I think about so many things I think about, but it is so important to talk about community and how important it is to have those elements to make sure that we are always providing resources for our amazing families.
Awesome, thank you. Byron, we know you do a ton of work lifting up new organizations who are willing to work directly with community. Can you tell us why this work is so important to you? Because just from my personal experience, my experience with talking to Kayla about you, called you in one day and was like, I need you to go over and talk to my brother and his team at KIT, and did some training. But yeah, just kind of talk about, new organizations that you help and encourage.
Oh yeah, I can talk about many organizations, but one of the biggest organizations that that's really hitting really home with me is how we are providing tutoring for our youth at Tacoma Housing Authority, and just how the community has been just a key. When I say community, I talk about community partners, I think about the family. So with the 2Gen work that we're doing, it's all about families being in the driver's seat. And one of the things that we were able to do is do like a survey, or just get out. We was able to get out and talk to families. And one of the biggest things that we heard families ask, like, hey, we need more tutoring for our youth. So what I was able to do was go out and talk to a community partner, Club Z Tutoring, and they have done a phenomenal job of, one, listening to our parents and the ask that they need to support youth around tutoring, and just like the partnership has grown. It's just been amazing to see how many kids and families who have bought into wanting to see kids be successful in school. And we believe that tutoring is the first step of many other resources to help provide for youth and families. One of the examples that the tutoring brings to us is so many kids, when you're working with families, if one family hear about it, they go tell the next family. If one kid hear about it, they go tell another 20 or 30 kids. So we're really starting to see this movement around how important it is to build community around family needs and wants and dreams. It's just been amazing to see just the tutoring. We talk about, we've brought in mentorship programs, but at the end of the day, it's all about supporting families and what they're actually looking for. So it's been great to see those types of partnerships just come alive based on what families want and what their desires are to see their kids be successful. One of the things I'm a big fan of not leaving, no kid is left behind. So we're making sure that we're providing these resources based on what what we hear our families say. That's the whole important part about community partnership. There's so many great community partners that we have partnered with in the past, and they're the first mindset. And when I'm talking to community partners, these are what we hear and our families are saying. And community partners always been on top of just being understanding why it's so important to hear what our families are saying. So we are really driven by a family-centered approach and making sure that all of our family voices are being heard, and our community partners really back that. So super excited about that.
This is not on the list, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Where did your passion and drive come into getting into this work? Because it's not easy. I think each and every one of you can talk about, you really have to have a passion for it. It's nice to have skills and talent, but there's a passion. So where did your drive and passion come from? Because all of the programs that you've worked with have thrived. You've taken them to the next level. So kind of talk to us about that.
I think, growing up, just seeing how passionate my mom and dad, were just serving people around them. And they did a lot of everything. I call it a little bit of everything. But one of the main things I've learned from, especially my mom, is that she led a lot by her actions, and she was really about her word. If she said she was going to do it, people counted on my mom doing it. So just learning that passion. And one time I was able to talk to my mom, why do you do this? It's because this is what I'm called to do. And I know in the beginning when I grew up playing baseball, it just didn't turn out the way I thought it was. But I thought it was over for me. But I really stuck to the things that I saw my mom demonstrate to me. So I've always wanted to be I always like this word. It's always said, in order to be first, you must be last. And I think that why I'm so passionate about this work, because I see myself at the very end and watching people in front of me. Even you talking about this question, I always have this picture at home, and this picture demonstrates it's a hand is out, right? But that hand is out, but there's another hand is holding down, but you want that. I like to be that person with my hand down so I can bring the next person up with me. So that drives me. So when I show up to work, it's all about passion. It's all about being able to be the best you can in that moment, because we all know that you just never know whose life that you're impacting. So when you show up as every day, that's what drives me. And it's just to be able to impact people around me by simply sometimes just showing up and listening. So wow. I'm very passionate about investing in people, investing in youth, investing in community partners, investing in families, because that's what brings me joy, and that's where my passion comes out of.
That's amazing, and just to be able to see him work and do that. And one thing I admire about Byron is that his teams and what he brings to his teams and the engagement and the involvement with the parents, and making sure that the programs are running correctly. And that's been amazing to see from, just working around you and just observing. That's been amazing. And that's one thing I can say about actually all of our presenters, just seeing their work. A lot of times when people are working in programs, it's systematic, right? Mm-hmm. But it's okay, you put this program into place, but do you really know what the needs of the community are? That's right. That's not really where it's at. But one thing, you make sure it touches the families, the communities that you serve, that they are getting the right needs, they're getting taken care of. So I just want to say thank you. And our last question, Byron. Oh, actually, I got a couple more. I kind of went off track, but that's okay. This is good. This is really good. Byron, as you have heard about we talked about that. right? The new organization and the connection. Oh no, this is a different one. Sorry. Byron, as you have heard about the new organization and have connected with them and know about some of the work they have done and doing over the years, can you tell us why you believe people should give to them? Why should people give to these new organizations and like why does it and sometimes someone else not? Why do we sometimes and
I
do and
think
don't?
why it's important to give to like organizations like this is like, we think about how important it is to build resources for families. And I think that it is so important to get behind organizations that whose really heart is really into this work. And, it keeps going back to sustainability, keeps going back to the impact that the organization brings to the table. I think it's very important to get behind these organizations who are really, really putting families at first.
Thank you. We're excited, and we're just really excited the work that we're going to do together with you and me personally with you because, like I said, I learn. You teach me all the time, so thank you. If other nonprofits are looking to become connected with you or the Housing Authority to offer services, can you tell us what is the best way for them to start the conversation or to get connected?
I would say they can give me a call, shoot me an email, and we can start talking about how we can continue to impact the families that we serve here in Tacoma.
Well, there you have it, you all. Mr. Byron Williams of the Tacoma Housing Authority, but also just someone also in the community that's passionate about helping to push our community forward to its greatness. Mr. Byron Williams, you all, thank you.
Thank you.
Megan Clark is a family liaison at Bernie Elementary with a passion for the community she lives and serves in, South End Proud. Megan collaborates with community partners and organizations to provide resources, advocacy, and access to our students' families. Megan works alongside families to break down barriers that many of our underserved community members face due to misrepresentation, racism, food and housing insecurities, and past negative educational experiences.
Oh, hello again. So I'm sitting here with Miss Megan Clark. She is the family liaison at Bernie Elementary here in Tacoma on our south end side of Tacoma. Mm-hmm. I came into contact with Megan a couple years ago through Talana at the Community Partnership Office. And Talana would talk about you got to meet Megan. And I was like, okay, whatever. But then seeing her in action. And then she got connected with the holiday giveaway. Was it about 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And I was like, Megan, we have some families, we could take a couple families on. And she was like, oh, wait, hold on. It's all right. Oh, wait, hold on. I'll get to you in a second. I'm going to have you a list of names. But what I appreciate, not only that Megan is so connected with her families, she knows what's going on. A lot of times people will be winging it, like, oh, well, no, they just need food or families just need, but when I say Megan has a connection with her families and know what's going on, and then she makes sure that she's in the right conversations that people that are going to be most effective. She doesn't just say, oh, okay, you have a resource, let's take it. No, she really makes sure that it's a connection that is going to be beneficial to her family. So you all, I present to you Miss Megan Clark, the family liaison at Bernie Elementary. Okay, you ready to get started?
Oh, let's get started. That was beautiful.
Let's see. So I've already talked about how important our partnership has become and how involved you are in the community. Tell us about the holiday giveaway and why it matters to your families and students.
The reason why the holiday giveaway matters so much to our students is because it's somebody in their community. It's somebody that's saying, hey, you know what, I care about you, I want to see you, what do you like? It's very specific, like what Angel was talking about earlier. When you talk about relationship, you want to give people what they need and what they want, not just give them something. To really connect with somebody, you want to connect on a level of really doing something for them that matters to them. It's not just this, because I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. I can't serve you if I don't know what you need or what you want. And so the holiday giveaway is just that. It's very important. You know, we have conversation throughout the time, like, okay, I have this family. Now they have a 7-year-old girl. Well, I noticed we want to make sure we get everybody. So it's a constant conversation. And I've had organizations in the past come to me and they've been very transactional, and that's not it. That's not it. That's not community to me. If you want to be transactional, give me some money. Okay, and then we can just, move on. But if you really want to be in relationship, be in community with the families, then come on. Then I can, because we come alongside. We're no saviors. We're not going to come out and tell you what you need. I'm not going to give you, I'm going to say, what do you need? What would be best for you and your family? How can I serve you? Because that's why we're here. And to really, truly be in this position is such a blessing that it's about service. And when you lose sight of that, then you have no business being in it, So that's so important to me. And with the holiday giveaway, you can tell that you guys are on the same page. We're serving families. And that's who I want to partner with. I want to make sure that we're making a difference.
Excited to work with Megan. One thing you told me one time, we were in the grocery store, and we were just, chatting, hadn't seen each other in a while, and it goes back to what you just mentioned, a partnership. And you talked about how if your students at your school have siblings at other schools, you're going to make sure you connect with those schools. Absolutely. And that was I was like, wow, okay, I want to work with her. Like, for real. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate you saying that and doing that. That it's not just, okay, well, these are my families. I let the other schools worry about the siblings. And you're like, no, we're going to make sure they're all taken care of. So I appreciate that. And then kind of talk about, too, we've had this conversation about when it comes to partnerships and even being in the right rooms with the right organizations. And how do you find the right organizations to partner with?
It's conversation. I like to talk. So when I get in a room, I want to talk to the people that are doing things. I like to talk, but I don't want to just talk. I want to see who's action, who's going to actually do what they say they're going to do. What is at the heart of the organization? Is it because they need a tax write-off, or is it because they want to serve our families? What does that look like? And so I love to network. And so because when I'm networking, not only am I getting to see other passionate people in the work, I'm also getting more services, more organizations that see my families and go, yeah, I want to serve them. Okay, what do you need? And they become more aware of what people in the community truly need. And that is where, I'll go in any room, I'll talk to anybody, just because that's going to make what we have going on at Bernie, what we have going on the South End, that's going to make us better. And so like what you talked about earlier, look, if I can partner with Monty over at Baker and be like this, we constantly will be, did you talk to that mom? Yeah, I talked to that mom. Okay, did we get it coordinated? And that makes it to where we're truly wrapping around families instead of it just being like, okay, check, you're off my roster, so move on to the next. It's not like that. Once you're an all-star, you're always an all-star.
I like that. Okay, this is not on the list, but I'm going to throw this at you. Since we're doing, about community, what would you say, a couple of the top needs of the community of your families, our communities and our families? We always know food, right? Like basic needs of food and shelter. But what are some of the top things, and Byron talked about tutoring, but what are some of the things that we may not even realize are needs for families and communities? We always, again, just think of food and shelter. Right. But sometimes there's things that we're like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Well, it's really, truly services. The before and after school care is, is something that really affects a lot of our families, because working 9 to 5 or work, just different. We have parents that are like, I had a conversation with a dad the other day. He said, I can't come get my son until 5:30. I was like, school gets out at 3:30 though. But it was like, okay, so what does this look like? Instead of being like, no, sir, you can't do that. I said, well, here's, there's a before and after school program. This is what it looks like. But even then you have to pay co-pays and things along those lines. So, when it comes to services, that's where a lot of our families are just in need of and time. Sometimes it's just a matter of somebody sitting down with them and helping them with a resume or helping them with, searching for housing, things like that. So it's not necessarily sometimes getting there, it's navigating the systems that weren't really designed for any of them to be very successful. It's pretty much getting into those systems and going, okay, so I know that when you look at this web page, it doesn't look like it's here, but it's here. You have to click this and do that. So it's me familiarizing myself and communities familiarizing themselves and being like, okay, so this is how you do it. Because if we can educate one family, then they'll, like Byron said earlier, they'll talk to another family and then they'll help. And we can actually start navigating these systems that are just not set up to be successful.
Do I hang around these people? Because they're amazing. Okay, so here we go. Last question. Why have you partnered with us Doing It Does It? And why does funding matter?
I've partnered with you because you're amazing. You guys have such a heart for community, and I truly believe in what you do. And when I believe in something, I'm going to give you 125,000%, because it's what community is. And I will always, my passion is community, all caps, with an exclamation on both sides. I love it. And so my goal is to always align myself with people that have a heart for the work and a heart for the families. And funding is, I wish everything was free, but funding matters because you can't do things without funding. And if we don't have, we have people that want to do the work, and we have families that need the services, that need the things, but if we don't have money behind us, it's just a hope and a dream. And so funding makes a huge difference.
See, isn't she amazing? And then I actually have one more thing I wanted you to talk about. Talk about you're starting a pantry at your school, essentials type pantry. Give us a little bit of.
So my friend Angel called me and said that look, we all sometimes get donations. We have people that want to make a difference and donate food or donate items that they're no longer using, or they have, like, maybe they got gifted something and they can't use it, things along those lines. And there's basic needs, there's just different needs the families have. Would you be open to having a pantry at your school? And I was like, as a matter of fact, I just cleaned out a couple cabinets at my school. I would love to have a pantry. And what that does is I truly believe that you are given what you need when you need it. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a random donation of a size 3 diaper and been like, okay. And then I'm telling you, that week, a mom comes in and she's like, do you know where I could find a pantry that has like diapers? Or I'm like, I have some right here. Or I had the nurse the other day with a student that has a medical need, that he needs certain snacks available at certain times. And she goes, I know this is really random, but do you have a thermos that has like a cooling thing in it? I know that's really weird. And I was like, actually, I got one yesterday. And it's just, because you get what you need when you need it, And I truly believe that. And so it's been pretty amazing. And so to have a pantry that has things that families can come and get is just, it's how we can be there for them.
I'm so excited, and I will get a list and contact information to you all, how you can reach out to Megan Clark at Bernie Elementary and make sure that she gets some of those things that she needs, patronize the pantry at the school. We still haven't come up with the name yet, but we're working on it. But I'm just thankful for all the work that you do in our community. You go above and beyond. I called her a couple weeks ago. She was like, I'm sick. I said, why are you answering the phone? Well, because you need something. I'll call you next week. Get better, Megan.
She did, too. She was like, stop, go to bed.
Right. So I just really appreciate your commitment and your passion to making sure that our communities are pushing to their greatness.
Oh, right back at you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Monty Carter was born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and has been serving the south side of Tacoma for 5 years. Monty has dedicated his career to service youth struggling in life. He currently works as the vice principal of Baker Middle School. He dreams of creating mentorship programs for young men of color who just need a little extra push in life. Monty hopes to make an impact on the south side of Tacoma by providing resources and access to the youth who need it most. Outside of work, you can find Monty vacationing or visiting family in Tulsa.
All right, y'all. Guess what? I'm sitting here with I call him Mr. Carter. So this is Mr. Monty Carter. He is the AP at Baker Middle School here in Tacoma, Washington, again on the south end of Tacoma. You know, we have a love for the east side and the south end of Tacoma. That's our passion. And so we're going to sit here and talk a little bit about his involvement in the community, with his engagement with his families. But let me tell you one thing I appreciate about Mr. Carter. For one, as you see, he's a brother, a strong black man here. And that to me is really important in our underserved communities for students of color to see someone that looks like them. But not only that, Mr. Carter really demands in a professional way, but in that stern way, respect for the students, and he shows his care for the students by giving that stern love and attention that we grew up with. He don't play. Mr. Carter don't play. And another thing I appreciate about Mr. Carter is he really follows his students in their path and to make sure that they take the steps necessary. One thing I know, and I don't know if he knows that I know, but anyway, he had a student that was getting in some trouble, acting up. It was like, I did all this work to get you into high school, and you're going to act up? I'm going to be on that behind every day and making sure, and I done called that principal, got you in that school, and you ain't doing right? But he didn't say, I don't think he said behind. But that student knew you're going to get yourself together. But when I tell you the impact that has made on that student and that family, because they see someone really cares. It's that tough love. And so I'm going to sit here and chat with Mr. Carter about some of the things he's doing through his school over at Baker Middle School, and the impact it's having in the community there. Good evening, Mr. Carter.
Good evening.
We got you on? No, yep, there we go. Can you hear him? Mr. Carter, say it one more time.
Good evening. Good
there
evening.
we go. All right. Tell us why you are behind mentorship and how important you think mentorship is.
Wow. Mentorship. So students need mentors. With the pandemic, with the shutdown, seeing a lot of students struggling academically, socially, emotionally. Our kids were already struggling before the shutdown, and it's even more, it's even greater now. And mentor or being a mentorship, our kids need it. And so, like the student that you were saying earlier, comes from a single parent household. Father's not there. And so I just kind of developed this bond with this particular student, and, developed a bond with the mother. And so it even got to the point where I'm actually on this student's contact list. So if anything goes on in school, they can call me, and I'm not too far.
And he's probably like, don't call him.
Yeah, he's he definitely doesn't want me to do that. And this young man has all the potential in the world, but just doesn't have that mentorship in his life. And this student is a student of color. He's actually a Hispanic student. Mother doesn't speak English, very, very little English. And so, like whenever the school calls, it's kind of like, what can she do? Because, the language barrier. And so, again, just developed a bond with this student, and, I made a promise to him that I would get him through high school and into college. So
That's amazing, because not only did you make a promise, but you set standards and goals. Like, oh no, we're not just stopping at high school, we're going to college.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's amazing. And even just a little bit about, you missed.
as everybody in the world is having, just in some.
Tell us who this program is for and what it provides through your pantry. You kind of touched on it, but
Yeah, I'll kind of talk about both programs. So my mentorship program is going to be mainly developed towards boys of color, and then eventually I want to work my young ladies of color as well. But we're starting off with the guys. Don't have a lot of mentorship groups from what I've seen, and so I just want to make an impact with our young boys of color, because I see it every day. We struggle with the no father figure at home. We struggle with motivation, and that's big, because if you don't have motivation, what do you have? And so a lot of students as well are taking care of younger siblings, so they're having to be the parent as well. And so as adults, we always have a lot of things going on with our lives, but we don't think about what these 10, 11, and 12-year-olds are going through on a daily basis. And so they have just as many problems or going through just as much stuff as we are, or even more. And so definitely see the need for the mentorship program for our young students of color. And then our pantry. Again, I think Megan kind of spoke on it, what just resources will do for our families. And our families are struggling right now. And if we can provide, resources in any way, that's what we're going to do. And a pantry will help tremendously. With laundry, detergent, with diapers, with anything. Our families are very, very, very grateful for whatever.
And that's what we're looking forward. I am so excited to partner. And I, working my 9-to-5 job is I work for Tacoma Public Schools in the planning and construction department. And one thing I appreciate is that through our department, every time there's a new school, and especially I'll take when Bose and Mary Lyon, where I wasn't around when Baker was done, sorry, but I was around when Bose and Mary Lyon were rebuilt, and I think I was more or just as excited as the students, because I'm like, they're already in underserved communities, and they're going through hell on earth, but at least for 6.5 hours, they can come to this beautiful building and not have to worry about what's going on at home, just for those few hours, be in an environment and a building that will help hopefully to inspire and creativity and motivation to greatness. And so I thank you for the mentorship and the pantry, because it's restoring hope. I like to think that through the work that everyone on this panel is talking about, we're hope agents. We're restoring hope. And our motto over at Doing It Does It is, we're people helping people help themselves. Because it's people like you and others that know what's really going on in the community and how to be the most impactful. We're not just making it as a number, or let's just put this system in place, but they're impactful. Mentorship is so huge. I grew up with 4 brothers. And so for me, programs, like Kayla has a passion for young girls, and but I have a passion for boys, because I grew up with 4 brothers. It was me and my sister, but there was 4 boys, you know what I mean? And so, and just to see how impactful they were and are, and the things that they're doing, whether it was with their children or teaching, and they're always inspiring. So I have a passion for especially men of color, the things that you are doing in the community, because you all are making a huge difference and being stern. Because we had to get it, so I think they need to get it too. Right.
So last before I leave, you said a lot of nice things about me, right, at the very beginning. So I want to throw flowers back at you. And so I just want to thank you for what you do for the community. You do a lot behind the scenes. You bust your butt, and you don't have to. And so I just want to thank you for everything you've done for Baker. Thanksgiving help, Christmas help. This lady right here has made it possible for our students to have food on Thanksgiving that normally wouldn't have food, and for them to have gifts on Christmas when our struggling parents, can't afford to give gifts. So you brought a lot of hope and a lot of happiness to some of our students. So I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Let's do this.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I just wanted to introduce to you the founding members of our nonprofit, our Doing It Desert nonprofit, Ms. Talana Penton, Ms. Kayla Davis, and myself, Angel Davis. We are right now the founding board of the Doing It Desert nonprofit. Thank you.
I have the great honor and pleasure to talk about financial literacy today. I am someone who has struggled with finances. I'm someone who also had someone hold my hand and walk me along this journey. I today can say 2 years later, I've been someone who's been able to pay off all of my credit cards, been someone that's been able to pay off my car, and now working on my student loans. But it took one person. It took someone to tell me, Kayla, you can do this. Kayla, I can show you how. Kayla, think bigger. Kayla, dream more. And my hope through this program is that I'll be that person that can stand behind community and say, you can do this. You got it. Dream higher. Dream bigger. Think about wealth. Think about your children. Think about your grandchildren. Think about the things you can do when you understand your finances. And so my hope today is that you'll help and support us through this fundraiser by giving us the funding we need to provide these resources to our community. This hope is that we'll be able to gather at least once a month, talk about our finances from beginning to end, so that we can be those that helps our community build wealth. As you know, it has been a difficulty for our community, especially the Black community, to build wealth because of systematic racism and other things that have prevented us from doing it. But I hope that I can stand in between the gap and say, you can do this, you got it, let's hold hands and let's do it together. Will you give today? I hope so.
So one of our goals and our emphasis is small businesses and entrepreneurship, professional development. I am actually a small business owner. I started and launched my business at Angel Davis, It's So Me, back in August of 2019. I did have to take a little break because literally the day of our launch, and we had a great launch and event, a networking event, literally the next week, I found out that my father's health was declining, and as his primary caregiver, family first, right? But I did not stop. One thing I realized as a small business owner, it's important to surround yourself with mentors and get the right professional development and help to push your business to its greatness. And so one of our goals is to help small businesses and entrepreneurs do the same thing by providing professional development services and training to help push their businesses to their greatness so they could be great part of the community, great self-sufficient businesses that push the community to its greatness. So again, one of our emphasis for small businesses and entrepreneurs is professional development. Thank you again for being a part of our Doing It Desert official launch and first annual fundraiser. So you may be asking and wondering, well, what are the goals? What is the financial goal that they are trying to reach at the first annual Doing It Desert annual fundraiser? Our goal is $50,000 for our first annual Doing It Desert fundraiser. So please help us support the different initiatives and emphasis that we have to be a blessing and a help to our communities in which we serve. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We just want to thank you for giving to Doing It Desert.
We also want to thank you for taking the time to listen to all of our different programs, and we hope that you'll partner with us by giving.
We would like to thank our sponsor, the Group Help Foundation for making this live possible and for their donation. And we would like to thank all of you for tuning in. And from this video, this live, this presentation, we hope that you will not only partner with us through your finances, but you will partner with us through volunteering. Again, we are so thankful for you joining us tonight and being a part of the launch of the Doing It Does It nonprofit, as well as our first annual Doing It Does It fundraiser. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Give.
Hold on to anything just so you don't crash. Fight off the empty lies that once ruled your past. Just when you think you've won, jump 3 steps back. So now you find yourself stuck in your own tracks. They try to dirty up your name, but it's all a game. Maybe you don't have to know exactly who you are, because figuring it all out could be the best part. Oh, don't quit your daydream, don't forget to breathe, cause who you wanna be is only up to you. Sometimes you may crawl, but let them think that you're small, cause it's so worth the fall when you land where you want to. Tried almost everything, still spinning around. But one thing you haven't tried is erase every doubt. Keep both feet on the ground while your head's in the clouds. And when you feel like giving up, listen to these sounds and make sure you don't quit your daydream. Don't forget to breathe, cause who you wanna be is only up to you. Sometimes you may crawl, but let them think that you're small, cause it's so worth the fall when you land where you want to. You don't have to know exactly who you are, just let your heart lead. It's so worth the trials that you're going through. So just enjoy the fall and you'll land right where you want to. Don't quit your daydreams, don't forget to breathe. Who you wanna be is only up to you. Sometimes you may crawl, but let them think that you're small, cause it's so worth the fall when you land where you want to. Land where you want to.